Lewis, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, it's Andrew Gay. Hi, Andrew. We're live.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Andrew.
Look at that. It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. It's updated my software. Andrew Gay live here on the Kerr County Lead. I'm Lewis Hamastoy. It's a beautiful, what is today? It's Wednesday. It's hump day. How are you? Are you good? All right, stand by. We're going to start the show now. The Lead Live is brought to you by Peterson Health. We're live from the Peterson Health Digital Studio here on a beautiful Wednesday morning, March 19th. The good news is the JFK files have been released to everybody. I don't know that you're going to see anything new out of those. Libbie on the label's on scene. She's arriving. She's wearing post St. Patrick's Day green. How are you, Libbie, on the label?
I didn't wear green on St. Patrick's Day.
You did?
No. I'm lame. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it, man.
Really?
Yeah, just wasn't feeling it. I was in Austin, actually, and I don't know, it wasn't a celebratory day. I don't know how else to put it. Not in a negative way. I was just
Not in a negative way.
It's Monday.
Monday.
Ooh, this calendar year, having that on a Monday, not our best move.
Not our best move.
Not that we can control that, but
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. The Lead, by the way, is brought to you by Peterson Health, elevating healthcare. We are also live this morning from Pint and Plow Brewing Company, having some coffee and enjoying. What are you drinking this morning?
my big gallon of water.
Big gallon of water. K-Pub, Safe, Reliable on Yours. They're having a meeting this morning. We saw Joe Herring, the mayor. He was going to that meeting. Gibson's Discount Center. Ken Stopel Ford. Also our good friends at JP Properties, the real estate report, brought to you by Janelle Peralt. And SLS Partnership Architects, Interiors, and all sorts of good stuff. The Herring Printing Company is one of our sponsors as well. And Jody Tillman of New Fed Mortgage. And the Herring Printing Company has been serving the Texas Hill Country since 1964. Also, if you have been out to... Here they are. If you've been out to Quick Lane, you'll know they have great customer service. And they got a ton of cool cars out there. They got EVs. They got big trucks. Trucks. They got cool things out there. Go visit them today at Ken Stopel Ford or stop by and make an appointment or give them a call at 830-257-5557 to have your vehicle serviced. Also, do you need a pillow?
Yes.
I recommend this.
The purple
Leslie.
pillow.
What's your name again? Your name is Libbie on the label. I'm getting mad. We had another Leslie here earlier too. We had Leslie McClure here.
Oh no.
Oh yes, she's so delightful though. You can go over to Mattress World and they will help you out. Mattress World here on Junction Highway. There's their pillows right there. You can see their pillows. The Reasoner family. They're not that new fancy schmancy place. They're a little further out on Junction Highway, but they have great customer service. They'll take care of you. They'll take away your old mattress. They'll do all you can do, and they got great pricing for you as well. And they got those cool pillows that you'll never have to worry about the cool side of the pillow. Are you a cool side of the pillow person?
I am.
Yeah, it's always
I like
cool. It's
cold
always
side of the
cool.
pillow.
It's always, no matter what side of the pillow is on, it's always cool. So there you go.
They need to make a face wrinkle prevention pillow for sleeping.
I'm surprised that it's not a thing out there.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
We're getting close with the silk pillow cases.
Yeah.
But
yeah, something that keeps your face sort of like from being wrinkled up and everything. Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
If you're a side sleeper, it's harder.
I'm sure that it is hard.
If you're concerned about wrinkles.
I'm a total side sleeper. Guess who made the show today? This is so exciting. I'm so happy.
Who made the show?
Andrew Gay. Texas Hill Country Advisors.
We're going to see his face.
We're going to see there he is. Oh, I got to show you his face. There's his face. You see his face?
I see it.
Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Andrew.
We finally have everything working. What did you do differently on your end? Anything?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing, really?
Yeah, just click the link,
You clicked the link and there you were. You were good.
Unmuted myself.
Yeah, you were good. Okay. I updated the software last week because I had a problem last week where nobody could talk to us.
That probably was the issue.
It probably was.
It's okay.
You know what's irritating though about technology though? I found this out the other day.
What'd you find out?
So I have several computers, right? Let me say I might have 4 or 5.
Damn.
I have one here for the show. I have a laptop. I have another kind of desktop setup, and I have another kind of backup laptop. So I was doing some video editing, and I was doing some light video editing in Adobe Premiere, and it kept crashing on my laptop. And I realized that I think the new version of Adobe Premiere does not work with the chipset that I have. Look, Andrew's already bored. He's done with me. Andrew, are you done?
This is interesting.
Andrew, are you bored? Are you done with me, Andrew? Come on, man. Tell me the truth.
I'm not.
You are. You're bored by this conversation. I can tell. I'm hurting your feelings.
I don't use Adobe Premiere. I use Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
And I understand like what you're going through.
Yeah. So
the system updates. Sometimes it doesn't. It's not compatible with what you've got.
I don't think it's compatible with my laptop. It kept crashing.
That's so irritating.
And not only crashing, shutting the computer down.
No.
Totally. It was the video I was editing was for Armando Marquez, who was the World War II veteran who came to visit us last week.
Nice.
He's from El Paso, but he visited Kerrville last week. So, Andrew, last night I perused through. I don't know. Maybe I was looking at the wrong stuff. I don't know. I was looking at the JFK assassination stuff last night.
What a great rabbit hole to go down.
I was going down the rabbit hole last night, and I don't know. There's so much stuff, like I think they said they had released the second tranche of stuff today. There's like 80,000 documents. And I think the stuff that I looked at yesterday was they had like 20,000 pages of index cards. Because whenever they would talk to a source, they would create an index card for them, like a card catalog at a library. Yeah. And then they would put it in there, and then they would just type in new notes on that person once they made the thing. So and then the CIA had some documents where they explained we don't want these ever to see the light of day because they would expose our methods and sources. But one of the things that you realize is that the CIA case officers had to run down every stupid idea that was out there, and every lunatic that had an opinion they took seriously. They had to, because there might be a kernel of truth in it. And there was a guy that was in the army who he was in Austria, and then they realized, oh, he's not telling the truth because he's in trouble. So they had to run all this stuff down. What was interesting about the release, though, for the two of you was that I think that the consensus was there was some confusion from the CIA about why Marina Oswald was able to come to the U.S. because they hadn't seen a lot of Soviet citizens who married foreign nationals being able to leave the Soviet Union. And that was a red flag to the CIA case officers. The second red flag was that he definitely was around communist, sympathizers and communists, and what his role with that was something that raised some red flags. But I would still say, and I saw somebody in my comment, so I just put these out there last night on Facebook just to see what had happened.
I saw.
And I had a couple of people like, oh, I don't think he could have made that shot. And there was that people were I don't think they could have made the shot either. There was some discussion about that. I'm telling you folks, when you go to the 6th floor museum at Dealey Plaza, dude made the shot. I'm just telling you. He knew how to fire a weapon. He was in the Marines. I mean, he knew how to fire. He had some training. It wasn't that hard of a shot. I could have made that shot, and I don't even touch guns. So just not. There was also some interesting things too that he was sort of mentally unstable to begin with too, and that he had some.
Are we talking about Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just making sure I'm tracking.
Yeah, and that he was mentally unstable, and that he had severe like like this is almost like an acting out of domestic violence. I'm going to kill. My life is so bad. I'm going to kill my wife, and I hate my wife, and I hate my life, and I'm going to go kill the president, and then, So anyway, it's all very fascinating. I don't know that it's really all that important to the overall scheme of things, but Andrew, you're going to set us straight on what's important to the world. So,
yes, I enjoy your opinions about that because I don't have the time, honestly, to sit there and dig through all that and read all of that stuff. Even though I do find it fascinating, I think that there's some good stuff in there. But that's why I rely on journalists like yourself.
Well, if you read the people that have, there's all sorts of theories about it, and there's some valid stuff in there. You kind of have to like go, that's interesting. I always thought that Oliver Stone in his stupid movie JFK, he made out an interesting point. I mean, like everything there's a little kernel of like, why did he make that left-hand turn onto, what was it, Parkland? Why was that so slow? Why were these windows open? Why were, what was the security plan? Even Khrushchev told the ambassador's wife, from the American ambassador to Egypt's wife, that he thought that there's no way that American security services could be that inept. But you know what? Time and time again, it's been proven that sometimes things slip through. Like, how did the kid get a shot at Trump?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, there's just no matter what you do, people find and try, and sometimes they get successful. And it was hard for us to imagine, that. I mean, like, if you think about the thing with John Wilkes Booth getting access to Abraham Lincoln, right? Mm-hmm. That was another issue of human error. There was actually a security guard who just like walked away from his post because he wanted to go down to the bar, and it should never have happened. And they knew that at the time that there was a threat on his life, or it could be possible. And so I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. Now there was a conspiracy with that. There's no doubt about that with the John Wilkes Booth and his little group. So anyway, all right. Andrew Gay, Texas Hill Country Advisor, joins us here. Do it, Andrew.
Thank you. Yes. So what is important in my world? I will update you. Today's a big day for financial markets. So Andrew Gay here, independent financial advisor, Texas Hill Country Advisors. We offer securities and investment advisory services to Next Financial Group, member FINRA, SIPC. So like I mentioned, today's a big day for financial markets, and what they're focused on is the Fed meeting. They will conclude a 2-day meeting. This is the Federal Reserve at 1 p.m. our time here. They will follow that with Jerome Powell having a press conference himself, as always, at 1:30 p.m. And the big to-do about their meeting this week, or this time, they meet every 6 weeks, because they're expected to not cut interest rates any further. Like that's kind of already on the table. Like markets already kind of have that priced in, and the expectations kind of already there for that. But they're going to release something called the Summary of Economic Projections. I mentioned this Monday on your show, but they only do, so they meet every 6 weeks, but they only, throughout the calendar year, but they only put out 4 of the Summary of Economic Projections throughout the entire year. So last time they did this was in December, and then we'll get the updated one today. And what we're really looking for is changes. So they did one in September, they did one in December, and then now we're going to get the one today. And they only opine, if you will, or project 4 pieces of economic data, and that's GDP, 2 different pieces of 2 different metrics for inflation, and then now I forgot the other one. Whatever. Anyway, so hold on, let me tell you what that is. That's bothering me. Anyway, the point of what I'm driving home here is the GDP number. That's what we're looking for, because we want to see what the Fed has changed between September. We know what they changed between September and December, but we don't know what their collective thinking is around GDP. So yes, the inflation numbers are in there. Unemployment, I'm sorry, that's the other metric they follow. And a lot of that they haven't, the unemployment number, they didn't really update that much. It was only 0.1% between September and December. And same thing with inflation. Their core reading or projection for inflation kind of moved a little bit, but not that much overall. So what we're really looking for is the GDP number. And then the inflation numbers would be right behind that, I would say, to see if any of that changes. So that's really what financial markets are focusing on today. We'll get that early this afternoon while the markets are still open. So we may or may not see like a market reaction for that. But to that point, the all three major U.S. indexes, the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ, are all trading higher this morning after they've gone through a slump over the last 3 to 4 weeks. They had a couple of positive days over the last 2 or 3 days, but we have seen some the return of volatility to financial markets. So we've also seen this volatility in the bond market too, not just the stock market. And of course, that's something that we talk about a good bit because it's actually larger than the stock market, but it doesn't trade on centralized exchanges. So it doesn't get the same kind of attention in the headlines and the media. This is the fixed income market, doesn't get all that attention that the stock market does. So there's volatility in both of these pieces of the market right now, just due to the heightened uncertainty around what's going to happen with the Fed. So we'll get a little bit insight into that this afternoon, and then we'll set us off into the later part of the month. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is the Fed's preferred metric of inflation, which comes out at the end of the month.
You know what's crazy is that the Social Security office here, this is big news, by the way, for a lot of folks, because they're going to start closing Social Security offices and cutting staff. They're going to require you to do in-person visits, anti-fraud. Even Forbes, which is center right, says that this is going to be could deny benefits to millions of people.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, and I would say all of that stuff is relevant to some degree, maybe for financial markets, because the way they're going to interpret that is think about those really three things I just mentioned that the Fed follows, right? Economic growth, which is GDP, is a proxy for that.
Yeah.
Inflation and unemployment. So the financial markets are going to take those headlines, whatever it is, policy, whether it's tariffs, layoffs, whatever you're talking about for Social Security, whether it's rearranging of that, shutting down locations, limiting benefits, whatever it is, that is somehow going to possibly play into some of those economic metrics. And that's how financial markets are going to look at that and go, okay, is this going to have an effect on unemployment? Well, if people are widely getting laid off, and that's from the public sector, because of something like Doge or whatever, we've seen some of that over the last few weeks, maybe that could weigh on unemployment, right? Which would play into the overall slowdown of economic growth narrative, right? And that goes back into the same thing that I've been saying, regardless of whether it's one of those economic metrics, whether it's a policy issue, whatever kind of headline it is, it's going to back into whether or not this is going to affect inflation or economic growth, one way or the other. And that's how financial markets are splicing everything that is coming at them right now, because there's been so much that has happened since November. It's just like the pedal's been to the metal, and the market's been trying to interpret what's going on with the administration and all this stuff, right? And so to make sense of it, the best way it can simplify it is to say, listen, this is either going to affect inflation, where inflation is going to be like an upward, stickier pressure that more so than what we want. But if that happens, then economic growth probably won't be that much of an issue. Or is it going to be an economic growth issue? Is like whatever's happening out there right now, is that going to weigh on company sales, on unemployment? And that would cause maybe an overall economic slowdown, especially if the consumer pulls back on spending too. So.
There's so much interesting stuff going on in the economy right now too. Like people are like, "Oh no, the sky is falling," and everyone's like, "No, it's not going to fall," and the stock market's up and down. And the only thing that's for sure is Tesla's doomed, I think.
Well, to that point, one of the things that we were talking about on Bloomberg this morning, I always enjoy this discussion, is that the stock market is not the economy.
Right.
So, and we always have to remember that, because the stock market lives in the future and it tries to anticipate 6 to 12 months down the road how those companies' sales are going to be impacting the earnings. Right? Because the earnings is what backs up the valuations of the stock markets. So the economy is we get like backward looking data for the most part to try to measure where we're at with the economy, and the stock market's forward looking. So you look at something like 2022, companies' profits were actually starting to kind of take a hit in 2022, but the backdrop of the overall economy was actually doing pretty well, even though the stock market was selling off like all year long, right?
Yeah.
So they're not always moving in sync.
I'm glad
But
that
yeah,
there's someone to
yeah.
explain this.
I know. This is what we have Andrew for. It's so good to have Andrew talk to us about this kind
He
of stuff.
knows how to just put it in a really great perspective.
Yeah, it's really great.
Puts it
Good.
plainly.
Thank you, Libbie. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. 'Cause so much of my job or our jobs is like trying to simplify what we do so that, because you don't care to learn all that kind of stuff, right?
No, it's hard to learn if you're not in that that kind of mindset, or you're not
it's
built like
immersive.
that in your brain. So
Yeah, so like
I appreciate you.
Thank you for the feedback. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
What do you got going on the rest of the day, Andrew? What do you? what are you-
Nothing, just got a few clients lined up. I got what else? Wednesday, we have a busy I always have stuff going on.
Hump day!
Hump day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just regular routine stuff, but it's good, man.
Yeah.
good.
I have
All
more
good
questions
things.
for you, but I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
That's cool. We'll come back Friday now that I can come back in person.
Okay, good.
virtually. In person.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Virtually in person.
Yay! Yes. Good job. All right. We'll see you
Okay,
later.
guys, have a good
All
show.
right, bye.
See ya.
You know who I want to talk to? Wait, don't leave yet. Damn it. He did it to me on purpose. I hate it when
he
the
has stuff to do.
I hate it when the question mark shows up.
Yeah, he did say that Wednesdays are really busy for him.
I know.
So
I
he's
gotta
gotta go.
I gotta figure out something here.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about some stuff that we just
Yeah,
announced at
just,
Arcadia. So we just did 2 announcements. We did one on Sunday and one on Monday. The one on Sunday was for Seven Bridges, a Eagles tribute.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
It's going to be so good. And we were doing some research about them. They don't use like any backing vocals, any backing tracks, any stuff like that. Like all of the vocals and all of the music that you hear is the musicians themselves producing it from their soul. So it's going to be a great show. Tickets go on sale for our members today at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And then they will go open to the public on Friday at 11
Good morning,
a.m.
Riverside Nature Center. This is Becky.
Becky, it's Louis Amestoy. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hold on a second. Can you hold on for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. All right. No, go ahead. Keep going, Libbie.
Sorry, I can't.
Oh.
I just went blank. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
wait. I know what you're talking about, though. You're talking about the Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah, the Eagles
No
tribute.
backing group.
No backing tracks. All instruments, all things are them. So if you really enjoyed the Chicago tribute band, this is going to be a great one to follow up with that. And that concert is May
May.
9th.
Right.
May.
It's gonna be
It's
so
in
good, though.
May.
I love the Eagles.
No, the Eagles are great. If
Unless
you
you're
liked
a-
Wilder
unless you're
Blue,
a
you like
big-
the Eagles. The
unless you're
Eagles
a big-
tribute.
Well, you know what?
Seven Bridges.
That's what I thought about too. Is that they were so good. They sound like the Eagles. So hey,
Yeah.
hold on a second here.
I'm holding.
Okay, Becky Etzler's here. Becky, why should we come
Yes.
to your thing today? Ned Talk.
Why should you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to be talking about, this is on National Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to be celebrating women in natural history. I mean, some, Rachel Carson, Jane Goodall, all of these women who, have had major impact on our sciences and specifically environmental sciences. And so, yeah, Robert Howes is going to be, put together this wonderful presentation.
Wait a minute here. You're having a man put together a
Yes.
presentation on Women's History
Yes.
Month? Gee, Merry Christmas,
Yes.
Becky.
Yes. We're all inclusive here.
Okay. All right. Don't say that out loud too much. I'm just trying to think if I should. Okay, here's the deal. I'm thinking about if I come, should I film it? Should I record it? Should I make video of it?
It might be interesting. Yeah, I mean, Bob gives a really good presentation, and he's done some, good research on this.
Okay.
So
If I'm there, be prepared for my arrival.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. That sounds great.
I just want you to be aware of it. So.
Okay.
Because I'm just thinking. I was looking at the calendar today. There's a lot of things going on today, but that's one of the more interesting ones, though.
What time is her event?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Right.
1.
The Ned Talks are really well done, though. They're always good. I remember I went to a Ned Talk with McAllister from the American Red Cross, and
Yeah.
he scared the hell out of me. Scared the hell out
Why
of me.
did it scare you?
Yeah. You scared the
Well,
crap
he
out
was
of me.
talking about drought and
Fire.
disasters
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the real stuff. That
I know.
stuff is very real.
Yeah.
I know. It's just
Yeah.
he was terrifying. So, all right, Becky. I'll probably come. We'll come by later and say hello to you guys.
Awesome.
All right.
Good.
Good. Thank
Welcome
you.
you.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry about that, Libby. I just
No,
had
you're
that,
good.
I had in my head. and I
We're
was like,
talking about all events.
Yeah, we're talking about all events. But
All events. 1
I think
p.m. at the
Here's the thing.
Riverside Nature Center.
Wilder Blue though
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah, brought down the house.
And you know, and I think the other thing too that they did was they did some things you weren't expected too. They did the acapella, or they did the solo stuff. Mm-hmm. They sang in Spanish.
And that's one of the things about Wilder Blue is that every single musician that's on that stage has had side projects, has other music that they do, but then Wilder Blue gives them the opportunity to showcase their other talents, which is really special. Hope to have them back in the theater next year.
Have it back.
Yeah.
Have it back.
No, they're becoming a regular. So yeah. It's good, and we did. So I wasn't finished.
Oh no! I was
Yeah.
gonna
So, yeah.
start the
So
transition
Monday we did
Monday.
another announcement for Colton Moore and the Clever Few. They are amazing. I've been listening to Colton Moore's music for about 2 years now, and the music is kind of geared towards a younger crowd, and I think that just because of the venues that he has played in the past, I'm gonna go down a tangent for a bit about this. So the person who opened up for Wilder Blue, Jared Morris here at Arcadia. Jared Morris opened up for the Wilder Blue. Jared Morris has a podcast called the Jared Morris Vibe or Experience. I don't remember what it's called, but he had Colton Moore on there, and Colton Moore was talking about how he played music for a long time back in like maybe the teens of the 2000s. Did a lot of shows, did a ton of shows, and finally, I think that he got burnt out on it. And I'm just paraphrasing a story that he had told on this podcast. He got burnt out and he was like, you know what? I'm going to go. He made some friends out in the hill country out here in Lakey, Rock Springs, Harper area. And he led hunting tours.
Yeah.
For a number of years, didn't pick up a guitar, did nothing. Then, a couple years later, Co Wetzel calls him and he says, hey, can you come, play? You want to play with me at this show in Stephenville? It's on a Monday, at the Twisted J. And he's like, I don't know, dude. Like, I haven't picked up a guitar in years.
Really?
I have
That's great.
I have no idea. But between that time period when he quit music and up until this point, he had gotten married, and his wife's like, well, like it's one show. Like, why don't you just go and do it? So he goes and he opens up for Co, and he describes this experience. He goes, people were singing my music.
That's great.
I have not performed in 5+ years. He put some music out on Spotify, didn't like watch the numbers or anything. It was just there. And then when he was playing on stage, people were singing with him almost every single song.
Yeah.
He describes that experience like, was this a joke?
Yeah.
Did you put me up to this? This is not real. So that was kind of like the pivotal moment where he decided like, okay, I think that music is something that I need to get back into. And I'm sure that there was more discussion on that. But since then, he's been touring with his band and songwriting, and it's really become more a part of his life. He even built a recording studio.
Wow.
At his home.
Great story.
Yeah, no, and it's really cool because he also has roots here in the Hill Country area, even though he's moved up to the more North Texas area. He's a really fabulous songwriter. One line that I really enjoy is it's from Tattooed Cigarette, one of his earlier songs. I'm a free spirit now living on the devil's time. Mm-hmm. And then there's another song called Your Alpine, and that's what's great about him too. Listen, I really like this artist, but he has the vocals and the soulfulness of John Fulbright, but then like the guitar playing skills and the duality of like doing some really great ballads like Tanner Ustry, and then I would say more rock, like probably geared towards more of the Southern, like South Hall or Treaty Oak. So he can do both.
Yeah, right.
Which is really, really awesome. So he performs well with a band and he can perform well solo. Another song lyric that I really like of his is from that song You're Alpine, where he says, I want to be the only one you want. I want to be your one and only haunt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like,
Wow.
take me. So, yeah, that's just kind of like a little snippet of Colton Moore's like journey with music and
Yeah,
whatnot.
right.
That is May 20. I think that's on my boyfriend and I's anniversary, 1 year. Yeah, the 24th, May the 24th. So come out. It's going to be a great time. Tickets are very reasonable. The bar will be open.
Those are the best kind of concerts too, when they're reasonably priced.
Yes.
And they feature little surprises like
Yes.
that. So
Yeah.
I think people like who went to White or Blue probably thought, wow, what a bargain,
Yeah.
because it was such a good show. And I think a lot of people saw them at Fourth on the River and thought to themselves, and I bet you their turnout for the folk festival is gonna be even bigger.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
now it's like they built this little. This is like they'll be their 4th time playing in Kerrville.
Yeah.
But they did a great job at Fourth on the River. Mm-hmm. I mean, they really brought it there.
I didn't get to see him.
You were.
I was up in the
You were
theater.
sequestered.
I was sequestered. Yeah, I
Hold
was
on a second
sequestered
here. Hold
in
on.
the theater.
somebody's supposed to be on the show.
Okay.
and I think
I can carry the
they're-
conversation.
Just tell
can
us
talk
about
to a
the
brick wall.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell about the wedding thing.
Oh, yeah. So this coming Sunday, we have our Wedding and Events Expo. It is the 23rd of Sunday, and it starts at 12:30, ends around 5. We have 30 plus vendors coming to our theater. This is anywhere from personal trainers. We have mobile bartenders. We have a DJ, so because people want live music at their venue, at their wedding. So we're gonna have live music there. The bar will be open, and we have raffle opportunities. Hi, y'all. We have raffle opportunities to win 10% off of your booking at Arcadia, whether it's a wedding or a luncheon or a Christmas party, like whatever you plan to book at our theater. You get 10% off.
Yep.
And then we have gifts, giveaways, raffle items from the vendors that are coming for the expo. What other kind of vendors do we have? God, we have lodging options. We have other venues as well. We have hair and makeup artists. We've got...
You have it all.
We really do have it all.
You have it all.
And I'm hoping, if this event goes well, which fingers crossed, it should and it will, speaking it into existence, next year, I think that we would plan to have even more vendors because we can put more outside. But this is our first stab at like, is this going to work?
Right.
And that event is free.
All right.
So just go ahead and show up and see what services these vendors are offering. And guys, beyond the vendor, these are people who have found talents within themselves. Maybe it's a side hustle, maybe it's their main thing, but their talents are, God-given, universe-given, and they want to share that with you and make your special day the way that you want it with the skills that they've acquired. And that's kind of the perspective that I've gained through getting to know these 30 plus people, these 30 plus businesses, is that they're passionate, they're helpful, and they want to do the best job that they can. And it's just so cool to see how many different people have these different skills, like beyond like maybe
Right.
their day job or something. It's incredible. And I'm very thankful that I'm surrounded in a community with talented people.
And putting together a wedding is no easy task.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
No,
So-
neither is a quinceañera.
Right. Oh no.
That's a whole.
That's like a wedding on top
It's
of
a
a
wedding. Yeah, I would say it's probably even more because there's just different things. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So that's the wedding. Yeah,
Yeah.
this Sunday, come out. It's free.
Look, we have some surprise guests.
We
they're,
do.
They're here for a reason, and I want to get to them here momentarily. Turn this audio off. Kayla Smith, she's here. She joined. Well, what happened? Here's what happened. She emailed me late last night, or I didn't see it until late last night, and I was like, hey. And she says, I'm trying to raise money for the people on Quail Valley Drive that lost their home. And just pull that microphone a little closer to you. And then her fiance Colton's here, right? Colton, that's your name? Colton? Okay, Colton's here. And Quail Valley Drive, there was a fire at the end of the cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. It destroyed a mobile home. There was 3 people living there. It was a woman, her husband, and then her sister. And the daughters were there. They came to see what was happening. The woman's husband and her sister were both injured in the fire. They may have lost their dog, who was an elderly pit bull, in the fire. But this thing, if you ever seen like an older mobile home, they just go up. And I have some video here of the actual fire. This is the Kerrville Fire Department putting it. So you can see that their home was completely destroyed by this fire, and just terrible. And we were actually fortunate in that day that nothing else happened, because we've had such bad winds and it's been so dry and everything like that. But Kayla reached out and she says, look, they didn't have insurance. We need to do a fundraiser. And welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us a bit what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, so, we actually just told the people that we were going to do a benefit for them late last night. Yeah. So they were surprised this morning that we were going to do this for them. Okay. We just want to help our community, and that's, pretty much.
So how do you know the family?
We actually don't. He ran into the fire.
Yeah.
And that is how we all met. I was in the ER kind of like freaking out, and she was like, "Are you Colton Townsend's wife?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And she just gave me a big old hug, and that's
so Colton,
how we
you got him out.
met.
Tell us what happened.
It was kind of crazy.
I just saw the flame and the fire, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see what I can do to help out.
Right. Do you live nearby, or?
I live off Loyal Valley.
Okay,
I live
so
on the back side.
The back side. So So one of the neighbors said he heard it kind of like an explosion.
Like propane tanks going on.
Yeah. So he said that, but the house was immediately engulfed apparently. So
Yes, sir.
what did you see? Tell us about what you saw, what you heard, and what you saw.
Well, I heard like 2 bangs, and I was like, what was that? Just instinct, adrenaline kicked in, and I was just taking action, see what I could do to help out. If someone wanted to do that for me, I would be appreciative as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you got over there, what was were they already out of the house, or were they trying to get out of the house? They
were getting out of the house.
Yeah. And they were already injured, right, at that point. So what happened then? Were neighbors out? Did people call 911? What was going on?
Finally, the fire department showed up, and they started putting the flame out.
So there was a point where he actually blacked out, and someone came and got me because he had blacked out.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so then we were all like, waving the ambulance and all that stuff.
Yeah. So did you go to the ER too?
Yes, sir, I did.
He was not going to, but...
Well, because... where did you black out just from the smoke, or
the smoke inhalation?
Oh yeah, right. Did you go into the house, or did you get them, or were they already out of the house?
No, I went into the house.
You went into the house and helped them get out. That's highly dangerous, man. What was? I mean. Yeah. The heat. You ever been around? Experienced a house fire at all?
Yeah. Yeah, back in the Panhandle when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean the heat of those fires is so intense. Yeah. So, but so what's on your mind as far as like what to do?
Okay, so we want to basically do a barbecue plate, pulled pork, brisket with 2 sides, have some baked goods on the side for them, and possibly do a silent auction if we can get enough stuff, donated.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, they don't have any insurance, so it's much money we can raise.
Yeah.
Especially for a hotel room right
now.
That's outrageous.
Right. It's outrageous, yeah. And this is tough because like nothing was left at that house. I mean, there's nothing to go back to. It's a total loss.
The lady didn't even have her cell phone with her. I mean, she didn't have anything but the clothes on her body.
Right. Yes. And I did have a chance to talk to. Do we know if the dog made it? Do we know? I don't think
did
the dog make it. Okay. So just so we know, we're talking to Colton Townsend, right?
Yes.
And Colton, how long have you lived in Kerrville?
31 years.
31, their entire life, huh?
Yes, sir.
And then you guys live on Loyal Valley. And so what happened to you? Were you at home, or where were you?
I was actually playing mom and getting all the neighborhood kids back, and we were all in my car in the AC, and we were just driving backwards pretty much from all of the flames because the whole street was black.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of trying to stay out of the way and kind of getting, all the kiddos, because there's a lot of kids in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And naturally, the kids wanted to go towards their parents running. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You got to go backwards.
Right.
And so me and my neighbor, we just kind of got all the neighborhood kids.
Yeah. Right.
We were just kind of hoping and praying. And I called my dad frantic because he lives in Comfort. I'm like, I need you here. I don't know what to do. Colton ran into the fire. I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
And so
right.
It was very, very chaotic that day. Let's just
because Loyal Valley is on the other side of
Yes.
Quail Valley, right? Yeah. So.
But where their house is and our house is, we could see their roof.
Right.
So it's basically like
You
three
hop-
houses down.
Yeah, you
and then
hop
like
the
a
backyard, right? So, does it? When you live over there, I mean, in the neighborhood, it's a lot of older mobile homes. Did you guys have some? I mean, one of the things that struck me was they had to run a whole heck of a lot of hose to get the. I mean, I don't know how long it took the fire department to get that laid out.
Everyone had their, home water hose, and everyone was watering everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it's pretty compact in there too.
It is.
As well.
Everyone kind of backs up to each other.
Yeah. So when Colton runs into the fire, he kids the people out. He blacks out because smoke inhalation is nasty. And what was going through your mind? I mean, did you see him go down, or what were you?
I did not see him go down. We are such a small community over there. One of the girls that actually went with him and broke the fence together, she came to me and she's like, "You need to go get your man. He blacked out." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can't go get him because I have the kids. I need, someone that's qualified to go get him."
Right.
So my dad, who has no business running into that fire, ran into the fire and kind of coached him out.
Yeah.
And that's when we kind of stopped the EMS and we were like, "Hey, this guy needs to go right here."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, what's wrong with him?" I'm like, "Well, he just blacked out,
How long did it take your dad to get from Comfort? Because you called him and he was in Comfort and then he was right there to get him out. Oh my God.
It was like about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
But
You were in there that long?
15, 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
I saw him briefly one time and he's like, "I got to go back. There's a dog." And I'm like, "Well, screw the dog." But he's such a helpful guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to help everybody. And it was just like everyone didn't really know what to do. Everyone was just kind of going into this flame.
Yeah.
And no one knew where it started, what was happening.
Yeah.
And then the lady that lived on the back side of this family, she works night shift, so she was asleep.
Yeah.
So people were trying to wake her up.
Right. Because they had to go over. There was firefighters on her side, and then the smoke that came back, it took out those palm trees. It took out the oak trees that were behind their property. So
she said she felt like she was in some kind of big nightmare.
Yeah. Right.
Also.
Oh
my God.
I got a call about it, and I'm sure it was fully engulfed by that time. But I was sitting over at Union Church, listening to the Historical Commission, and my daughter called me, and then Joe Herring texted me. There's some kind of big fire out by your house. I actually live up off of Southway, and so I look out the window at the Union Church, and I just see a header of black smoke, and I'm like, well, something. When you see black smoke, it's like something combustible is on fire. That's like a building or something that has some oil in it or something along those lines. But it was so big, I was like, that might be a brush fire too. And so I ran home, got my cameras, and then I had to park by the gas station on Ranchero Road and Quail Valley Drive. And I had to walk all the way down because they had the road closed, and I have a video here. I don't know if you saw this, Libbie. You guys.
I did. I saw snippets of it.
Here's the hose line. So I shot this hose line coming back. I'm like at the end of the cul-de-sac. I'm actually a couple hundred feet away from the cul-de-sac. So now you can see how much hose line they had to run. Because basically the hose line started at Ranchero Road, and you just see I'm just walking.
You said a quarter mile of hose?
It was a quarter mile of hose, at least. Because I measured it. It was each length is about 100 feet. And there was by 10 or 15 lengths there was at least 10, if not more. And so I don't know how long it took them to get all that sort of installed before they could even fight the fire. They had one pumper truck that was there. And so you can see now I stop here and you can zoom in. How far it was, and so I'm sure the response.
Oh my God!
Yeah, did you guys know that how much hose line they had to run?
We didn't see any of that, so we saw a bunch of cops just trying to get people out of the road at that point because everyone was just kind of, parked and just running, so there was no way for the fire trucks to get in. So everyone was just trying to like coach everyone to back up,
get up, back up, right?
Okay. Yeah, so we didn't know any of that actually.
Yeah. So where do you guys envision this is going to happen? Do you have any ideas, or what do you guys need? Who do you need to help, or how can people get a hold of you? We'll actually write an article out of this and send it out. But what is the plan?
Well, the plan is basically just to help them any way we can, pretty much. Like I said, they don't have anything. So however we can help them, that's what I want to do. You know, because one day we might need help.
Yeah,
so,
So do y'all have a place where this benefit is going to happen?
Yes. Okay. So it's going to be at the, what is it?
River Hills Mall.
The River Hills Mall.
Okay.
We're going to be in the back corner over there.
Behind churches.
Yes, so we're going to have some cones set up. We are trying to get some kind of banner made so that, you know, you can kind of see us. We're going to get matching bright shirts so that we stick out in the crowd, and just going to kind of go from there. So we're going to start at 12, and then we're going to go until we are completely sold out.
Right.
Word.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Good job. Good job. Did you get any burns or anything like that? Were you okay?
No,
just smoke inhalation. You just smelled terrible,
he was
probably.
Very lucky.
Yeah, you were very lucky. Yeah.
Very, very lucky.
Right. Probably. Well, you won't think twice again. You'll do it. You'll know what.
He said he would do it again.
You do it again. Well, we do those things.
It's community helps community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Bottom line.
I was just thinking that phrase in my
Like
head.
if my house
Oh
was on
my
fire
God.
and I seen people run to me, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was grateful either
Right.
way, you know.
So ironically, it's this guy's birthday this weekend.
Oh.
And we told this family, and we're like, we expect you to be there. Like, you guys need to come eat. It's going to be like one big block party pretty much now. And everyone just come eat, have a good time.
And this is the benefit's the same day as his birthday?
No, it's actually
okay.
the birthday is this weekend. We wanted to have the benefit a little bit out because, like I said, they didn't even know that we were doing this benefit for them. So I wanted to surprise them.
Okay,
you know?
good.
Because right now they're just living with the daughter and they're all pretty crammed in.
When is the benefit again?
It's going to be on April 12th.
Okay.
April 12th.
Okay.
Noon to sold out.
All right.
River Hills parking lot.
All right. Perfect. Good job, both of you.
And how do people get in touch with you if they want to help?
You can find me on Facebook or you can contact me directly.
I'm going to publish the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
With all their contact information here, and we'll get more details out to everybody. But thank you both for doing this, and Colton, thanks for taking action.
Thinking on a whim.
Yeah. Thanks for being safe.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Good job, you guys. All right. I know you had to go to San Antonio. So
Yes, I'm booking it now.
Oh, God.
Thank y'all.
Okay,
All right,
drive
thank
safe,
you guys.
y'all.
Appreciate it very much. KayLa and Smith and
Wow.
Colton Townsend and the daughter. Goodbye.
Bye, you guys.
All right. Wow.
Dude,
What would you do?
I don't have.
What would you do?
I don't know if I have that skill where I can think on a whim and sacrifice.
I think you do. You're first off, look, here's the deal.
Okay.
You're super strong.
You're
nimble. You're nimble. You could do things that most humans can't do. Mm-hmm. You can actually, if you had to, you could pirouette into the
smoke,
into the fire, and get people out
gracefully.
Yeah.
I don't. If there's like injured people, I don't know how I would react.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's tough. The biggest thing is getting them out of there first, making sure that they're safe, and that's the thing that's dangerous about this. People who save other people often die themselves because they either get overwhelmed by smoke inhalation, or I mean it's you don't have much time. Smoke inhalation is nasty.
It's disgusting.
It'll knock you out in a hurry.
Yeah.
So
when they said that he was in there for 15 minutes, Matt, I was like,
right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, it was nobody, and everyone has different takes on things too. You know, like, oh my gosh. And it took me a while to get, like I said, I was there for 25 minutes at least before Turtle Creek was able to show up, the volunteer fire department, to help out with a little bit. I'm sure the fire department was right on there, but still, it's not easy for them to get to. You know, it's outside of the city limits. They had to run all that hose line. I tell you what, here's my takeaway from this whole thing. We dodged a bullet with that.
Absolutely.
Because if that had happened on a Saturday with the winds and everything and the intensity of that fire, it could have been really bad.
It would have been terrible.
So
Yeah, it's got me thinking about where my fire hydrant is near my house. I don't know if I've seen one. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know where, I think mine's on the top of the hill. So, but still, in a lot of these places that live outside of the county, or outside of the city in the county area, they don't have access to the fire hydrants that we have. Maybe if you live inside the city limits.
Yep.
So that's one thing, and that's the problem, and even if you have the fire hydrants, so that we learned from the California fires was that they had access to fire hydrants, and then everyone was sucking out of those things, and they all went dry because they couldn't put enough water on those things fast enough. And that was the situation. What's interesting when you go back and you see a fire like that too. So again, I'm probably 25, 30 minutes from the, being to where they were being transported to the hospital, right? The fire is pretty much out by the time I get there. But there's still parts of the thing that are on fire.
Yeah.
Because it just won't stop burning, and so, like I said, I think we dodged a bullet. Great props to the Kerrville Fire Department for doing what they did, and getting it out,
and everything that they
all
do.
the volunteers and all the police, and there was tons of constables and police and sheriff's deputies that were all there trying to help out and make sure that everything was safe. And K-Pub, Safe, Reliable, and Yours was there to turn the power off. So anyway,
I think about firefighters a lot and how much they do, and it scares me. And I just want to give a shout out to all firefighters everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for being on the front lines of stuff like that, and even car accidents too. Like, I couldn't. I don't know. I'm not built like that mentally. I'm really not.
Well, I'm glad you came by.
Yeah, I know.
Kayla emailed me. I was like, get down here and get this done. So,
and you're gonna publish an article with all that information in it. Good.
Yep. Yeah. Colton Townsend, the hero of the day. So
hero of the day, April 12th.
He's kind of wiry. Looking, he's like a guy who could just kind of get in there and do it. So.
Yeah. No questions asked.
Let me see here. I had some interesting stories over the week. Yesterday in today's newsletter. If you got the newsletter, I detailed federal spending in Kerrville.
Federal spending in Kerrville.
How much money contracts? These are contracts that the government has issued for Kerrville projects or Kerrville funding. And if you ever say, "Well, I don't know what the federal government does for me in Kerrville,"
I don't. Could you tell me?
$275 million in the last 4 decades here in Kerr County, mainly for the VA hospital. The VA medical, $275 million contracts. It's a lot of money, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to figure out how much money that is.
That doesn't include salaries. That doesn't include. I'm sorry, $237 million. That does not include Social Security payments. That does not include other benefits that go to people that the federal government pays for. That's just in direct contractual spending. About $100 million of it was directly to businesses here in Kerrville. The rest of it is for contracts. Like $50 million of it went to one construction firm to upgrade the USDA facilities. Since we now apparently have a war on science, I don't know if that'll ever happen again. Maybe we'll Elon Musk will say we don't want to have any spelling on these flies. Why do we need to have fly research? Well, it helps protect our cattle and our livestock and our beef products and things like that, so we can continue to manufacture food here in America. So it's a pretty interesting deal.
Is that like roughly $6 million a year over 4 decades?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it goes to funding the VA medical center.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So,
which is important.
Right. And I think it was interesting because I kind of came across these documents and I was like, wow, that's interesting. Let me see what it says for Kerrville. And that's what it came out with. And I looked at it. So, let me see. Also, there's an executive order that targets museum and library services. The Institute of Museum and Library Services, IMLS. They're going to eliminate this program.
IMLS. What do they do?
They fund libraries and museums with different grants and things like that. This is federal spending. Texas has received a significant amount of money from these projects. Let's see. In the 2024, they got $12.5 million for. Most of that money went to supporting literacy programs. It also went to supporting technology. in libraries, and a lot of it went to archiving the state's history.
That stuff's important.
I know.
I just went to the Capitol like a couple weeks ago.
Did you go to see their archives? You held.
This stuff
you
was
held, right?
Yeah, it was kick-ass.
Yeah, you
it was
held
awesome.
like an old map. So
I looked at a $6 million map.
Yeah. So the
from
state,
1850.
the state gets money from the federal government to help pay for some of that stuff and that archiving to preserve that history.
This is bad, Lewis.
Yeah,
this is
really
bad.
And then they also got money there was also money that was spent. One of the things that was interesting too, when you read these things, is that libraries have a different role in America now than they had previously, right? So many people still go check out books at a library or things like that.
Check out books at a library.
One of the things that librarians started saying was like, well, we really need help with becoming workforce development centers. Because people will come to the library, they will use our computers, they will research, they will use technology how can we help our residents become better employees? And so they were spending money in that area. So there were grants in there. Laura Bush, George W. Bush's wife, who was a librarian herself, wanted to improve literacy in America, and they had a fund under her name. Now, I can't find necessarily direct spending here in Kerrville for these things, but what they would do is they would give the money to the state library board, and then they would kind of disperse that money to the rest of the state. Now, in the case of museums, Fredericksburg got a significant amount of money for the Nimitz Museum, for the Pacific Museum of the National Museum of the Pacific War, also the Historical Commission in Gillespie County got money. So this has funded a huge array of projects. Also, zoos were included in this as well. So you know how I like zoos.
Yeah.
Like the Brownsville Zoo, which I've not been to, but they have gorillas there. So I saw a delightful orangutan video the other day, and I didn't send it to Meredith.
Shame.
I know.
Go find it.
I know. I need to.
They're giving money to your orangutans. They're cutting that off.
I know. And so this is being undercut right now.
The significance of this is very big.
It's very big.
It's important to preserve our history, not just as a state, but as humanity, because we learn from our history, and things that are accounted for, like if we don't talk about them, they are not in our circulation of communities.
Right.
And you lose that, then you make the same mistakes over and over.
Right, exactly. And this is the frustrating part about this, is that we there's something to be said for preserving your history. Joe Herring's got a really good column tomorrow that we'll run in the newsletter, and if you subscribe to the lead, Joe Herring's column appears Thursdays, and he's writing about the day that Earl Garrett died in World War I. And Earl Garrett writes this heartfelt letter to his mother, saying,
"Oh, Joe's told me this story.
Yeah, it's so tough, like he writes this letter. It's like, I'm really reasonably confident in my abilities. I'm not necessarily, I'm not a Superman or anything like that, but I think I'll be okay. But just in case anything happens, basically what he's saying is, I've seen stuff that makes me worry. But I want you to know that you've been a great mom. You guys are great. My parents, I love you, mom and dad. And then he dies like a week later. Yeah. So on top of that, Joe and I had a conversation the other day about Sidney Baker and how Sidney Baker died. Sidney Baker basically died almost instantly of what they believe. He was hit by a machine gun, and late in the month before the war ends, World War I. So, but why would we keep that history? Well, because it gives us perspective of those who sacrificed to save our democracy, our representative democracy, to save our way of life, to protect us. And those are important stories to tell. So anyway, that's an interesting thing as well. Also, earlier this week, we're doing a series of editorials. I'm working on one right now that'll have a couple that we're going to come out here in the next few days. I had one on Monday about the threat to the National Park Service, because not only do we cut this, but we've gutted our national parks. Yep. And do you know how many people visited national parks in the United States last year?
I I have
It's
no
a
idea.
huge number. 330 million people visited national parks. I should say national parks, national monuments, battlefields, seashores, things that are run by the Interior Department, right? This doesn't include like national forests, which is run by the Department of Agriculture. This is the Interior Department. And Big Bend, which is very popular among people, which saw a record number of visitors last year, which after COVID has seen nothing but bigger number of people exploring it.
That's what we need.
550,000 people, I think, visited it last year, which was a record. It's continuing to grow. They basically cut that staff in half. So they're operating on the bare minimum as it is. So this makes the park less safe.
Yep.
It makes the park vulnerable to, greater problems with its maintenance, vandalism, looting, whatever you need to do. This is
probably squatters too.
Probably, yeah. People wanting to. I think we have a theory here currently that, and honestly, I'm going to blame it on Tawny Fontaine Jenner. Okay. Because it's her. She's told me this before a few times when we've met. That she just wants to see drill baby drill and resources are just stripped away. So
Tawny said that?
Tawny said that. Yeah. I think she said that. I think it was Tawny I was talking to. So anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That's something I think that we need to think about. It's like, well, aren't our national history, national monuments and historical sites important to us? Aren't they important to our way of life and to what we define ourselves as Americans? You know, there's the great quote about how, you know, the national parks are singularly one of America's greatest ideas and greatest values and greatest achievements. And yet there are people in this country who are elected officials, Ted Cruz, and who don't like the national parks, who don't want to see further expansion of the national parks. They want the resources, taken out. I think we're better than that, but I don't know. So anyway, it's 10 o'clock. We better get going, huh? You got things to do.
I'm sad.
I'm sorry.
I'll get better. I'll be back. I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
There are great things within our community to look forward to.
Like Colton Townsend storming into that house and rescuing those people.
Yes, community helping.
Kayla Smith saying, "I want to help the community."
Yeah.
They probably never thought about that before. They probably thought, like, we're just gonna live our lives.
Yeah.
And then they just want to do this now. They had something happen to them that was negative, but they're going to try to make a positive out of it.
Yeah.
That's community for you. What did you learn today?
I learned that there is a big threat at the national level for our programs that are really near and dear to a lot of our hearts. Right. But if we look at more of like a microscope lens, we do have community, like I just said, helping our community, which is a perspective that I think that we need to take right now.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what I learned.
I think that's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I think you're brilliant. That's why I have you on the show. You're brilliant. Now on Friday we're gonna have. I think we're gonna have Juanita who's on your board, and Katie Thompson.
Yeah, they're gonna come and yap about our awesome wedding and event expo that we've worked so hard on.
There's so many things happening on Saturday. It's hard to.
But ours is on Sunday.
Oh.
So you can relax, have a mocktail. Sunday wedding and event expo, free.
Hey, by the way, go visit our friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. They've got stuff over there. They can help you diversify your feeders.
It's Bird City.
Bird City is Kerrville.
Yeah, it's Kerrville.
But
go see what they got.
You can go see Wild Birds Unlimited, the nature shop. You can help you attract more birds, boost your mental health with Wild Birds Unlimited. Visit them today.
Boost your mental health with birds.
Go by and their store is delightful. It's 855 Junction Highway, or give them a call at 830-895-7393. So there you go. Good job.
Boost your brain with birds.
Yes. Well done. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.